Greetings and salutations, sports lovers, race fans, and others. Gather around, little children, and bring us your furry creatures, for we bring you, Gary, another episode of DirTiSweat.
Hola, senor, senoritas, and others.
And others. Others are important, Gary. You know what? I'm looking forward. Production have done at the meeting this morning, they've printed out a forest here for me. Only thing is, you can see I've got my eyes on with my magnifying glasses so that I can see what is what. But I'm glad we've gone back to, at least a running order. So
I see you've even got a fancy script there, lad.
Well, it's not quite a script, it's a running order, because you know me. Oh, look, a butterfly. It's not quite the middle of winter, it just feels like it. And I cannot wait, Gary. The 21st of June. 21st of June is the winter solstice. Thereafter, summer approaches.
We go uphill.
We go downhill into summer.
Oh.
Boom! Welcome summer. Because I like the studio, looking good.
It's nice and rustic.
Where are our pictures? They're also rustic.
Correct.
Rustle through the leaves. So, Gary, Saturday, Alfa Romeo 500, which actually turned out to be, I think, the Alfa Romeo 526. Because the car that won it was fast.
Really fast.
Fast.
Setting a lap record. Fastest car around Zwartkops.
Officially. In order to get a lap record around a track, it needs to be during a race.
Yeah, that's correct.
An official race.
Yeah.
So many people say they've done 48s and 49s and whatever around Zwartkops. But unless the official timekeepers have got the time, that's it. So that's not going to happen. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Alfa Romeo 500 and some of the cool things that we see. And I've got a pen so I can make some notes as the butterflies come into my head. And then we're going to look forward to the next race.
Yeah.
And then the finest racing event in my mind, the greatest day of racing, Le Mans, is on the go.
24 hours.
Oh, I absolutely love it. So,
You know what's sad this year, though?
Gary, what's that?
We don't have a single South African driver driving in it.
Particularly as on Saturday we spoke to George Fouchier, who's driven 13 of them. And
That was, I didn't know that. That was super impressive. Been there 13 times.
he's been there about 18 times, but he's raced it 13
okay.
times, yeah. And he raced with some really proper people. 956 specialist. He was there with Toyota as well. Absolutely awesome to see George. So George, how's it, man? Thanks for the great chat. Also good to see Duncan Foss at the track. Haven't seen him for a while. And Rob Howie.
Yes.
And Rob walking around with a stiff upper back.
Yeah.
And after we spoke to him, he had that crash in Morocco. And he was explaining to me the type of crash. Because I said, well, okay, so you landed in a hole, and what's the big deal about it? Can't you put a lot of, like the foam they use in ejection seats in aircraft on the seat, which will at least cushion the vertical damage?
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't a compression injury that he got. And he explained that you can't put too much foam at the bottom of the seat, because then when you do go through a bump and your body goes down, the shoulder straps get loose.
Okay.
And then you can get shook around.
Not only that, also affects whatever hunts or type of device
so the
you have.
Hunt. So the kind of crash that he had was that the car went off the end and nosed down and basically sort of T-boned the ground.
So it wasn't sort of a bottom-up impact.
No,
it was more
down.
like a frontal
and
impact.
he explained to me that it was like him moving forward and trying to kiss his belly button. So everything got stretched and bashed up over there. So now he's got a brace.
Yeah.
And the doctor basically says that he's doing really, really well, got some good progress that he's making. But this is not a quick fix. So the prognosis is good, meaning I watched Chicago Med.
You're becoming
The prognosis from his hematoma between the... No, well, I mean, it's real life. TV programs where they got the lawyers and the firemen and the medical.
They're
proper.
real?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
exactly like real life. At least that's my story I'm going to stick to.
Just one thing before you go off. You know what I found so fascinating? Yeah, when you were talking to both Duncan Foss and Mr. Howie, the amount of guys that were online at the same time, because we're doing it live.
Yeah.
And the guys all challenging one another to come and race. So we had Johan Engelbrecht challenging Peter van der Spey to come and race. And Peter
Is he related to you?
No.
Okay, cool.
And Peter challenged in the other way around.
Fernando Alonso is not related to me either. We're both very fast drivers, but he's not related.
Okay. So yeah, it was quite interesting to see how many people are interested in getting back into endurance racing, which is actually quite encouraging from the series point of view. And these guys actually challenging one another and debating cars, etc., while we were live in the comment section of that specific interview we did.
So on that note, while we're here,
if I may, just to welcome a couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to say hi to Charlotte Renchies. Hi, how are you? Fantastic drive over the weekend.
Have we recovered yet? Are we smiling, Charles? I hope so. Great drive.
Marco da Costa's joined us, and Brett Garland. Brett, nice having you on board. When are we going to see you guys, both of you, Marco and Brett? When are we going to see you in endurance race?
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring it out there.
We'll talk about some points, because I think it's kind of, we're halfway through the thing,
Yeah.
and we're going to go through some points.
Yeah.
Gary, there's 75 drivers who've scored points in the South African Endurance Championship.
George Fisher's just joined us.
Georgie, we were talking about you. Thanks
Hi
for
there,
the
George.
great chat again. I was watching a little bit of Lamar this afternoon. Well, verbal watching, and just thinking of you and in your drives there. And thanks again for the chat. So, let's go to qualifying for Saturday's race. And great initiative to put the fast cars into a qualifying session on Friday.
Okay.
And then the other cars into another qualifying session on Saturday. But it was a bit of a dual-edged sword, because the boys, they came out, they pumped up their, what do you call them, Gary? This is a family show. No, they got all brave, and they went for it, and there was some proper quick times. 56.9 seconds for Simon Murray in the G57 on Friday, which was absolutely awesome. And then
That's the Janetta, isn't it?
yeah, Janetta. Okay. And then bang. So they arrive at turn 1 at Swartkorps. It's kind of a quick car, and you've got great ground effect. So they just breathe off the throttle about 180 k's an hour and put it through there. And it appears that it was not driver error. The data shows something happened with the car, and in all likelihood it's a sudden deflation of the right rear tire, which punted the car off the road and into the sticks, the barrier. Damaged the car quite badly, and it was a sad sight. We did that little segment with a car coming back, and to me it's always a sad sight when a car comes back damaged, because the mechanical damage you can fix, but sometimes the impact with the driver and the impact in their head is a little bit different thing. But for me, it was a double-edged sword. And I'll talk about that now. Because straight after he did that, Nick Adcock in the Ligier
JS53
Evo 2 with a Honda motor in it, Gary. And we've got to get the terminology right. If we're going to... this is a serious show.
It is.
We go out, our viewership, we've got a couple of 100,000 people watching us.
Just talking about that, Simon Murray's just joined us. Evening, Simon.
How's it, Simon? We're going to talk about the awesome work your team did. So, where are my notes? The butterfly just came in and out and all of that.
You were talking
Nick
about
Adcock is in the Ligier, and he's going and just talking to him before qualifying, and the way that he was saying that because of the proper ground effects on the car, and they've got nice new sticky rubber on it, he was feeling that he needed to build up to doing the big number. And that building up to it is all about the really, really fast corners, which is turn 1 at Swartkorps. Then they got their little Mickey Mouse hairpin. And then there's not really a corner, the sort of sweep onto the back straight, which they say is 3. And then 4. And getting drive out of 4, because it's a nice quick corner, but the road rises upwards. So you've got to carry great speed, mid-corner speed, apex speed.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with the aero cars, and we can draw a picture here, Gary, it's freaking awesome.
I wish you guys could see what he's doing.
So I'm just busy drawing a little picture of a car here. And excuse production, can we just get graphics to sort this out next time? So here's excuse my drawing, but the car's going this way, and there's a gap between the road and the car, and the gap at the front, this distance here, is smaller than the gap at the back. You can see it. Otherwise, go and look up Mr. Bernoulli. The attitude, the pitch attitude.
Yes. Yeah.
So the car does three things. It pitches like this.
Yeah.
And so if this is the car, pitch, forward pitch, back pitch.
Okay.
And then if you look at it from the top, yaw is when it goes around the axis down the middle of the car.
Okay.
So now, to keep get the maximum grip, you've got to keep that aero platform stable, so you can't pitch it in on the brakes too much and be rough on this thing.
In other words, if just so I understand,
Yeah.
you maybe help a couple of, if you drop the nose too much, it affects what actually happens to the aero coming out the back of the diffuser.
It moves the center of pressure
Okay,
forward or back.
all right, okay.
And then the balance changes of the car. So Nick was saying that he's had to build up to get that fast right-hander, I think it's turn 4, up onto the back straight, and turn 1. Get the real quick speed around turn 1. So then drama. On his quick lap, little breathe on the throttle through turn 1, and the brake tube, or the brake pipe, with the nice braided pipe, was rubbing on the inside of the rim.
The left-hand front wheel, I believe.
Wore through.
Yeah.
So the right-hand back, or one of the back wheels, just grabbed a little bit, turned the car around, and he went backwards into the tire barriers at about 185 k's an hour. Now, I'm happy he went in backwards, because
So am I.
that gives the car the support of the seat and all of that to support the head. Going back to the neck and back injuries of Rob Howie and some of the Dakar guys, those are all forward injuries that the head and neck hand system is supposed to hold the helmet, but the forces are immense. And anyway, so the car got a little bit scribbled. Now, major panic, not so much panic, but controlled, working very fast. Guys, get the cars back into the pists.
You know what, just before you go on, and I'll come back to you on that, what I was surprised at was the aluminium strut that comes off the back of that car, off the gearbox, and then eventually holds the back wing. I'm amazed at how that actually worked from a crash point of view, because it saved the rest of that car, because they hit that wall pretty hard.
And you want stuff to bend. So the gooseneck, Sparky's neck, Sparky's China from the PE, the goose's neck, it deformed. And you want the thing to deform in a crash, and you want bits and pieces to explode and fly all over the place. Because it dissipates the energy, and the more energy you can dissipate over time, the less hurts the body. So have you seen, just talking about that, there's a new Formula One helmet regulation that's coming in.
Yeah.
And I was just reading some of the figures there. Gary, 225 Gs instantaneous they measure on it. That's the maximum Gs that it can handle in your brain.
Just before you go on, Greg Wadridge has just joined us, and he's asked a question: why no airbags used, or why no airbag system used? Craig, I'm not sure whether you mean inside a car, in a race car, or you're talking about the barriers as such.
If it's inside the car, the answer is very simple. The technology doesn't exist for the speed of deployment, for the speed of safe deployment of an airbag in a racing car. It doesn't exist. The speeds are so much higher. Airbags are really designed to work up to about 80, 90 k's an hour, really, really optimized. And we're doing more than double the speed, and you don't want that kind of explosion inside a car.
But not only that, if they used airbags against Armco and things like that with a racing car, you've got something that's coming in at quite a lot of speed. It's very, very hot. And most airbags are made of flammable materials. So the likelihood of that bursting into flames, although it may save a driver or may save a car, it's more than likely going to burst into flames. So that's why nowhere in the world do they use airbags per se,
For cars
as
bikes,
in bikes, to protect cars. They have other types of barriers. So, but airbags used in bikes are not there to save a bike. They're there to save the rider.
So in America, where all things great and wonderful come, except for Ford GTs, which are maybe sandbagging to try and beat, but we'll get to that later. We're not allowed to use the word sandbagging because apparently some people get upset with me and then they phone production and then legal has to get involved, Gary. But in America, they've got, in NASCAR, they developed a system where you've got they used to just have the concrete wall here, and then if a car hit it, there was, Dale Earnhardt Sr. died like that. So they developed this thing called a safer barrier. It stands for a whole lot of things, can't remember them right now. But you've got the concrete wall here, and then they put like foam thingamajiggers that stick out, another layer of foam and a steel wall here, so that when the car hits it, it crushes. Distance over time absorbs energy.
You know where a good observation was that is in the Formula One race on Saturday.
I fell asleep
on Sunday, where on opening lap, the Williams was tagged by a Toro Rosso. And you saw the Williams car go into this barrier side on.
I thought the Williams tagged the Toro Rosso.
Okay, whichever way. No, I'm talking more about the barrier. And there you saw how there's different, what you just explained, how that wall actually works, because you have different layers of this very, very thick, preferably hard type of a foam.
Yeah, they use a different thing in America, but hey, we're going there, and I don't want to go there, Gary. But so now the cars, they got the cars back, and then Stewie in the world-class racing team. I think that the world-class WCRT. That's what it stands for.
WCT.
WCT. Gary, why are you laughing?
Because it stands for World Class Team.
I know it does.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Because Stu told us something else, and
no, you didn't.
I can't say that on a family radio station.
No, he didn't. He says World Class Team. So the World Class Team decided that it was easiest to pack the car up, go back to Joburg, where they had lots of rivets, tie wraps, and duct tape, and they could stick the thing back together. But Nick and the first aid call.
It's aid call, yeah.
They're from Cape Town, so they basically came here to use our water and have showers.
Not very nice, but...
Yeah, but all of the oaks who came from Cape Town said the showers were magnificent. Anyway, we're not going there.
Sorry, guys in Cape Town, sorry.
So they decided to repair the car in the pits, and they worked all night. They really did work hard. When we left the track after the admin and the production meetings at about 10 o'clock, Gary, I've got to say, they were still working hard. So production needs to just sort something out. So we've got some moves around here. When they redid our studio for us, they didn't get the air conditioning working so well.
Yeah, so they brought in a fancy heater.
Yeah, they'll get it all sorted out eventually. You know, we've got to talk to the landlord at our studios. He'll get things sorted. Hey, Ted. Come on, boy, Ted. But the thing about these crashes, which for me was absolutely... We never get... You know, doctors are easy. They get dead people and they cut them up and they check how things work and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And they learn that way. We only learn, unless we design the things, what's happening on the inside of a racing car when they crash. And to see the different kinds of foam and honeycomb on the inside and the absolute paper-thin single layer of carbon on the outside on the G57. Simon's wallet doctor he came in with the defibrillator and all the rest of it, because there was a large bill to sort that one. Anyway, they got the cars sorted, and then we arrive on Saturday. And it was cold. And so they went out for qualifying, and because the whole concept, after the G57 on Friday's qualifying session, and the concept there was, let's have the fast cars in the one, so they don't trip over the slower cars, and also to give the slower cars a fair shot at getting a good lap time, so they...
Not worrying about a faster car coming up behind them.
Which I think is a great move. But when you do the paperwork, it's the last square of paper that counts the most. And you've got to say, hey, listen, if you're going to qualify here, you can't qualify there. Anyway, they didn't do that, which meant that the guys who crashed or didn't have a good enough lap time, some of the guys who were trying different setups on their cars, hello, Charles, they would have another go on Saturday. It's Gary, we got to share the stuff.
Well, that's what happened. That's fact.
He said that they went one way, and it all had to do with the relative toe on the front and the back. And it's quite interesting that when you look...
Are you jumping to shore now? You're finishing qualifying.
Do you want me...
No, just ask.
No, I really do appreciate it, because there's stuff going on in my mind, and I can't talk fast enough.
Okay, so we're back at qualifying. The guys go out.
Moth.
Moth.
So they go out, and the next 4 cars were within less than a second.
Yeah.
For an endurance race, phenomenal. And so today's the first qualifying session for Le Mans. It's not Le Mans, Lemon. It's Le Mans. As a Frenchman says it, you don't say Le Mans, it's Le Mans. There's no N at the end of it. I get freaked out with the best site to watch it in the world, and they keep calling it Le Mans. But anyway, that's another story. So then they go out and they get all their cars fixed on Saturday.
Having his moment.
But it was super cold. The tyres didn't get warm. It was gunky and all the rest of it. So the fast times held from Saturday. But the quick guys, the guys who repaired, they got their cars sorted. And so there was qualifying. And everybody was happy. And they moved on. And the world moved forward.
Just before you go to the next thing, just want to say hi to Henny van der Lindes online. Henny, nice having you with us.
Hello, Worm.
Michael Volk, great having you join us. Terry Wilford.
We're going to talk about some tyres, and I believe Terry is having a great year. Hey?
Yeah, we're going to stick to only tyres with Terry, nothing else. And then Stephen Cannon, great having you on board. Thanks for watching.
So of this forest that you see all of this stuff that production, and they got it right with the font. Thank you, production. Gary, after that meeting that you had, we had a meeting on Monday evening. The production team got together, and it was great. I just feel so positive. There's great things happening.
We aired different things.
Destroying trees, and that other grumpy fellow got fired, and the other one who didn't know what he was doing also got fired. So we've got some new support people here. Absolutely magnificent. So then we go to the race.
Yes.
And should we just say what happened, overall results? Have I got results? We're not going to go through all the results, and Simon Murray won it, and that had a bucket load, 223 laps, which is a lot. And then the Ferrari, the Angels came in next, 219 laps. Nick Adcock and Michael Jensen. And it was so cool watching Michael warm up and focus himself and stretch and do all of those other really good things.
It's a different perspective of what race drivers actually go through just to get themselves psyched up to get into that car.
And then Charles and Kishore Patamba in the Stradale Motorsport Ferrari, Fritz Kleinans, James Forbes. And then my favouriteest, the sleeper of all of them, Matthew Nash had a dream.
He's online, by the way.
How's it, Matthew? That the idea was to build a car in South Africa that was relatively affordable.
Yes.
So that somebody could go and run it, particularly in endurance races, and not need a whole
didn't need a fat wallet doctor.
A backup. Doesn't need a wallet doctor. There's no carbon fiber on it.
Yeah.
So the car costs, I think it's under 300 grand, ready to roll in the pits. And the guys, they hiring out races for a 4-hour race, including flights, hotel. Basically, you arrive at an airport, you swipe your card, car bends over, costs out the money. It's about 50 grand for a 4-hour race. Cheapest racing that you can ever get. And they finally got it reliable and got results.
Yes.
So these kids, Keegan Campos and Scott Temple, I saw them on Friday, and I thought, okay, fine, no fireworks here, let's just move on. But there was like this little oak tapping me on the back of the head, and they just soldiered on, under the radar. Those kids were so chilled, they were having fun, they were putting in quick lap times.
That's right.
And they're going to finish 6th overall and win the Index of Performance. Unbelievable. Just to recap, Index of Performance, what it is, it's a theoretical lap time that all your lap times are compared to. So in this particular series, what they do is they take and there's a debate whether you chuck the fastest lap away and then take the next 2 laps. But anyway, they take an average of your quick laps, and then they compare all your other laps to it.
That's right.
and they say as a percentage,
You're closest to this.
that's what
Yeah.
you got.
And that's how it
So
is.
we need to tell production
Yes.
just to give us the stuff in order or get the teleprompter working. Because it's not in order. Gary,
What's not in order?
it's not OCD. It's CDO. So I just wanted to just talk about the index of performance. Nash Motorsport won it. So Matthew, well done on that. The car, it's got a 2-liter Volkswagen engine in it, and I'm sure you could breathe a little bit on it. It's got Bridgestone semi-slick tires. They ran the whole race on these tires, and the reason they won the index is that they were lapping really quickly and consistently. They had a short pit stop to bash some fuel in it, change drivers, and they had no troubles. The car that the Arnold Chatz Alpha Giulietta, the Turbo Giulia, sorry, that still is leading the championship.
He's leading the championship overall.
Bradley Scorer and Theo van Vieren.
That's right,
awesome
yeah.
car. They won index on both races. They lost it about an hour, 53 minutes into the race. They needed
Into the race or before the...
No, into the race.
Oh, okay.
They needed to go, everybody thought, it was a 4-hour race. Okay? So you need to stop, if you're going to make one stop, you've got to stop after 2 hours. Logic says. Unless
Makes
you're
sense.
hoping for miracles and all that stuff. But the miracles don't come. And they had a tire problem. They couldn't carry on, so they had to stop, which immediately switched them into a 2-stop strategy, or necessity. It wasn't really a strategy, it was a recovery strategy.
Yeah.
And then they lost lap time, or they lost laps for that last stop. So they only came third overall, and on the index. The second overall was the 8-Call 24/7 Ricky Barlow Racing, Adcock, Jensen. 2015,
the
Ligier
Ligier,
J is 53,
Yeah.
Evo 2.
Honda, with a Honda motor.
And they came in with 92%. Winners had 94%, so it's 92.7%, the 92.5%. It was close as hell. It was awesome. It was magic. And the Alpha was third. The other Ferrari was there and all of that. So now we can make Browflace with that piece of paper. So let's just go to the results. We've still got our running order here, and we are aware of the time. So if you've got any questions, let us know there, and then production will highlight them to us, and we'll try and remember.
Just before you go,
Yeah.
Matt Nash has been very nice just to pass us a couple of things. Yeah? The maximum time they can run the car is 2 hours and 10 minutes. And their problem occurred at 1:40. Matt, not sure I quite understand that. The next driver would have
I think that's the Alpha.
that's off.
Or maybe he's confused. Matthew, go and build your cars, make them fasterer and fasterist, because you need them for PE on the 11th of August. So,
Thanks for the info,
thanks for that,
Matthew.
Matt. Sometimes I even also get confused. So let's just quickly go to the end of the results, and we're only going to go through the first 3 and then the highlights that come out of it. Because they definitely are. Results tell a story, but we don't work on results. We work on the whys and the what happened and what happened to Battalier Motorsport. Why did they battle a little bit? The Nash, what happened to them? Nothing. That's why they came 6th.
That's right.
What happened to the Alpha? We'll talk about that. What happened to, anyway, a couple of others. So Simon Murray Racing with Gavin Cronier and the Wallet Doctor, chief sponsor. The Wallet Doctor apparently did brilliant work. They did 223 laps. Then Dane Angel, Dane and Marcel, and it was really cool that Dane has allowed, or Marcel, Daddy, has allowed Dane more and more freedom.
And he's coming out
to express themselves.
Yeah. In a race.
They were really expressing themselves at
right,
prize giving. They've got they are a crazy bunch, but really, and it's pretty cool to see. Then Nick and Michael Jensen in the Ligier, they were another 1 lap behind, and then Stradali, Charles and Kishore Patamba. But it wasn't as cut and dried as everybody thinks.
No,
So
some guys had a pretty hard race.
So there we were, and as I was with Dunky and Rob as night was really falling, And just to see the glow of the carbon brakes as they're going into turn 4.
On the various different cars was actually quite amazing.
It was so lovely. And that, to me, the greatest time of an endurance race is sun coming down and sun. And as dusk falls and the light goes away, the atmosphere changes, the temperature drops, and you see who's done the work with their lights and who's in the car, and absolutely fantastic. But coming past the pits, the Simon Murray car at Geneva, there were a couple of laps where you're sitting and you're doing your work and you hold on a minute, there was a bit of misfiring. There was some not so lacquer gear changes. So now we have a look.
You started to pay attention and listen.
I had a little move up towards the top end of the pit, where the world-class racing team were based. And then there was a bit of, the lights went off and the lights came on again very quickly. And then the lights went off for a long time. And this is all
Wasn't that going up the long back sweep? Where you probably could afford to do it.
This is all within about 20 minutes to go. So now you've had 3.5 hours odd racing. It's been hard. You've kind of, everybody thinks, oh, well, they got it in the bag. And the poo fairy is not a nice... The poo fairy flies around racetracks and every now and then just decides to woo, woo, woo. And you never know where the stuff lands. And I don't wish bad luck on anybody. I mean, I really don't. But you've got to... It's not over until the checkered flag, you cross the checkered line, as some Japanese Toyota, a motor company discovered. And it is only their race to throw away this weekend. Sorry, we're talking about going from there and the Pooh Ferry to Lamar 2 years ago. And anyway, we'll get there. So that was the one thing. And then the Alpha had to come in again.
Just
for a pit stop.
on that, you're talking about this.
Oh,
what were they actually...
Okay, so now the lights go off.
I mean, it finished the race, so it couldn't have been a major problem.
Do you know, like Microsoft?
Yes.
I've got an Apple, so I don't know. Apparently, Apples never give trouble. But if you've got a Microsoft machine, you have to, every now and then, Control-Alt-Delete, reset the thing.
Oh, okay.
So they power off, and then power on, and sometimes the problem goes away.
Okay.
And they're lucky, the problem did go away this time. So he was cycling through the power, went through the normal thing, because they've got a power distribution module where you can basically press the button, hold it in, and it'll reset. It's like a fuse, like a trip switch in your house.
Okay.
You just turn it on, turn it off. Stuff doesn't work. Turn it on, turn it off, Gary. Then it works.
Just a quick hi to Etienne van der Linde, Janet Wood, and Angelo. Great having you with us. Enjoy the show.
Van der Linde, one half of the Van der Lindes, awesome drive in, where were they, Gary? Red Bull Ring.
Yes.
In Austria, absolutely fantastic. So that was the Simon Murray car recycling, and they got it to, and the funniest part was Stuart Thompson, who's the head of the world-class racing team. I go to Stu and I say, hey Stu, what's the problem? And he looks at me and says, oh, there's no problem, everything is normal. But then there are other people that you need to know and need to ask, and you say to him, how bad is the problem and what are you doing to manage it? And then you get the whole story. So that was great. Anyway, thanks for the info, guys. Please rather share the info. It's much, much more nicer than us speculating. The other one that had a bit of a poo ball from the Poo Fairy was the Arnold Chats Alpha team. They've been running so well, and they did all their homework. And these are... Brad and Tia are senior people in the motor industry. They do their scenario planning. They work hard. They're not as good as the Battalier guys who've got a plan for everything, situations that don't even exist. They've got spreadsheets. They engineer the hell out of this thing. But they had all sorts of strategies and plans, and plan A, B, C, D, E, F. But this was Plan S. And Plan S didn't really come up with
the answers.
What happened was that in changing the left rear tire, they had a bit of wheel nut issue, where the nut was basically gnarling on the thread. So Freddie was going to basically take all of those studs and nuts and chuck them away and put nice new studs and nuts on it. So they probably lost another, minute. But at Swartkorp's a minute's a lap.
That's right.
minute 10 for these guys. So anyway, but it's a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So they had their poo ball.
And then you were going to go into some tyre stuff.
Yeah, thanks for keeping me focused.
Yes. Because I found that very interesting as we started to learn about it.
So, in the battle of the tyres, we've got Pirelli, Michelin, Yokohama, Goodyear, Bridgestone,
And Avon's.
Avon, and Hankook.
Yes.
You see, production didn't get it right. You need to, Gary, please talk to the research department.
Yes.
They missed it. Research. Focus.
Okay.
So, and it was very interesting to see on Friday and Saturday morning about, particularly on the Formula Renault 3.5, and they were chopping and changing, and basically their tyres didn't arrive on time. Who ordered late or what? Customs doesn't work on a Saturday. The reason doesn't really matter for us.
Yeah.
But to see them go from, here's an Avon, to put a different make of tyre, and they put some Goodyear tyres on, and the Wilfords did help them really in terms of getting tyres there. So big shout out to Larry and Terry for bringing on those Goodyears. But you don't just take one make of tyre and put it on a car and expect it to do the same thing. You know, they're like two different women. They talk differently. The one likes sugar in her tea, the other one just likes sugar in her rum and coke.
You've got to change the setup sort of thing to make the one tyre work, which is different to the other one.
Yeah, so that was fascinating watching them work through it. And then you've got the two Ferraris, one on the Pirelli and one on the Michelin. And the Michelins and the Pirellis, they like different setups on the cars, where the Pirellis like more toe out at the back of the car and more toe in at the front.
Yeah.
And essentially once the car settles and it leans on the back outside tire, it helps with the yaw to keep the car turning into the car and basically with mid-corner speed. So that was absolutely fascinating. The Nashes run on Bridgestone, the production tires, and they just run and run and run and run for days, and they don't cost a whole lot. So that brings that whole, and I'll go back, my hat off to the Nashes to Matthew and his team of 6 cars he had there eventually.
Yeah.
And with the official color scheme, I got it from
Matthew.
authorities. They all run with a white body, and they've got the noses painted in different colors.
There's different panels on each car, so each panel is a different color.
The noses are painted in the correct color. So the teal car is the teal car. Gary, I was right.
You are 100% correct.
I once thought I was wrong, but I wasn't. And then the other one that I felt for was Bonnet Man, George Smallberger.
Shame they had a tough
We
time.
laugh. You know, they broke their bonnet and on a rally, on a race, on a race, on a rally, on a race. I think they've gone through about 19 bonnets.
Yeah.
Volkswagen at Motorsport have run out of bonnets for that car. But anyway, they had a motor issue, and then they put a new motor in, and that didn't work, and they put another motor in, and that didn't work, and they didn't make the race. So we missed him at the race because he's always good for some stuff. The other thing that I took out of this race, pit stops were, and particularly the refueling.
Oh, fantastic improvement.
And Gary, what was your 2 cars? Your
Yeah.
favorite car?
Yeah.
You give me that one, and then we'll ask the other question. I want to keep that as a surprise.
My favorite car was the Ligier JS53. Both of them out there. Those were my favorite cars.
Why?
I just think for what that car is, compared to a lot of other GT3s and that are in the country, there are similarly priced motor cars. It's a very, and you actually understand the ground effects and how it's like to drive a ground effects car.
We must do a show on that, on the ground effects on that thing. Oh, it's getting cold. Can we turn the air conditioner off and put the heating on?
We can. And then you had another question for me about some other car.
Most impressive. I think it was.
Yeah, my most impressive driver the whole weekend was Jason Campos and Scott Temple in their little Nash. To take that car and consistently just pound those laps away and end up winning index, I thought that
Yeah, mine too. Hey?
that was the most impressive thing. So for anybody out there wanting to get into racing, winning is a fantastic thing. You can come along and win your class.
But they won index of performance, which is mega.
but also to come 6th overall against more powerful cars like the Backdraft Cobras, etc., etc., etc. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. They just plugged away and they scored what they needed to score. And hats off to you guys. Fantastic job. Well done.
Tony Martin's birthday was another one for me when the troops gathered in the pit lane and sang for him, and to see there was a little bit of, I think he got some dust in his eye.
Is that what it was?
I'm sure it was dust in his eye and it was watering. So I agree with you. Those Ligiers, they light, they don't make a lot of noise, and they go like smoke.
Talking about that, just before you go to the next point, just a hi to Fritz Kleinans. Nice having you on board. And Fritz, we're going to do a show on paid drives and that sort of stuff, and we'll get you on board and sit down with you. You can tell us how it all works and things like that. So we are coming to you.
And then just to round up the Mopar Endurance Series.
Yeah.
Next race, PE, 11th of August, so there's a bit of change.
Yeah.
But first, before the 11th of August, did we talk about the significance of the 21st of June?
Yes, it's the solar.
I can't wait. It's a week away.
What do you call it?
It's
the
solstice. It's a week away.
Yeah,
and then
we go uphill.
downhill into summer.
Yeah.
Yoo, I can't wait. Okay, 11th of August.
And Sebastian Clay. Sorry, 11th of August, our next race, or the next race for the South African Endurance Series.
In PE?
Yes.
Sparky's hometown, the Gooses are going to be there.
All those that were challenging one another.
Yeah.
There's a lot of you that were challenging one another when we were live on the weekend. So Peter van der Spey, we expect to see you there with a car. Johan Engelbrecht, we're expecting to see you down there with a car.
Dankie Vos.
Dankie Vos. I know that him and his brother are putting something together because they got a very, very quick little Juno.
Yeah, it's got a big engine in it. It's a Ford 3 V6 engine in it.
Yeah.
I'm a great fan of that little Honda 2.4.
That's right.
Light, fast, and the thing about PE for me that's going to make it even more dizzier than it's a 4-hour race, so same in distance or endurance, same time-wise as SWAT Corps.
Correct.
But PE is more abrasive on tires.
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
Which I only learned a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
They've resurfaced that track. Now, I'll tell you what it is. Michael Stevens, for those of you who don't know who Michael Stevens is the current champion of the GTC Africa Racing. He pedals around there at his home track.
He's also an engineer of note.
That's right.
He knows how to set cars up. Clever boy.
And he's been out there, and the rumor has it that he reckons by the time that this resurfacing is settled, that track will be two seconds quicker than what she currently is.
Okay, awesome. But what is it going to do to the durability of the tires? Because PE was always abrasive.
We will only know after Saturday. And the reason why I'm saying that after Saturday
there's a bit of a race there.
Yeah, the national series is going to be down there with the V8s and the GTCs and the Polo Cups. And we'll start getting feedback from how abrasive that track is. And once these guys have gone and raced it, it makes the next South African endurance race going to be very exciting down there, because now, whatever the reports coming out of that are, so I bet a lot of the teams are going to be dial up. How's the tires doing? To find out what happens so they know what to do going into the 11th of August.
The other thing is that there is some track lighting at PE. There is no lighting at SWAT Corps, so you rely completely on the car's lightning. And there were a couple of drivers who were kind of thrown with the depth perception and distance at night, but there is some stuff in PE.
The Goosemans could just come online. Sparky Bright, how are you, Sparky?
Yeah,
he says brand new blacktop, and he sent us a link. Guys, I will share the link after this post, but if you're looking in the comments, if you click on that link, it says a new surface for Scribante. So click on that link from Sparky Bright. You'll be able to read all about it. But it is there, new stuff. So Sparky, we're looking for feedback for you after this weekend. You can dial in. Actually, you can send us reports for next week's Wednesday show. DirTiSweat next week.
Every Wednesday, hey?
Yes.
Because production had a huge thing. Apparently, legal have been onto us, and if we don't do it every week, there's big problems. The other thing about PE is the ridiculousness of the airfares that are being charged.
It's the most expensive place to fly to in this country.
It is pathetic. Anyway.
Yes.
So, and then, to my favoritist events, Le Mans this weekend. Yeah. So they're practicing already. Toyota are doing everything in the world to let Fernando, or to
make sure that Fernando
Fernando wins. And then McLaren are going to go and buy an IndyCar drive, and then he's going to do it. But the other little guy who's there, who's won Monaco, who's won Indy,
Yes.
is Fat Man Montoya.
He's there.
He's there.
Yeah. And then you got also Jensen Button there.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just talking about from doing that Triple Crown.
Oh, okay.
And it would be hilarious if
If Montoya does it in the land.
Montoya does it before Alonso.
Alonso.
Anyway, so the question then becomes from the balance of technology, they call it. This is where they take some of the toys that Toyota have got and some of the rest of the LMP1 cars, and they try and give them level playing fields. There's so much to talk about it. Go and read online and find some stuff and all the rest of it. But what I do want to talk about is in the GTE Pro class. There are 17 manufacturers, 17 cars.
You're talking about in the Le Mans section?
At Le Mans.
Okay.
These are kind of a little bit more than GT3 cars. They are unbelievable. So there's been the first balance of performance adjustment already.
So quickly. And they're only just going into qualifying today. Did that happen today?
No, it was announced on Monday. So different sources tell different things. I'm not going to go into it. It's too complicated. But the one thing I've got to say about what the ASO does with the balance of performance, it would be so cool if they say, Aston Martin have come along with their new car. It's 5 seconds a lap slower than
a Porsche.
Than a Porker. Oh, and by the way, go and have a look at the two color schemes, the retro color schemes that the Porkers have got. They've got the pink Porker, and then they've got what used to be a cigarette company that sponsored them. I don't like that, but that pink Porker it's a proper pig. So the Aston's about 5 seconds. If they turn around and they said, okay, fine, we're going to increase the power. They've given them an infinitesimal amount of power more by changing the restrictor and increasing the boost. They've given them more fuel. Aston reckon it's worth about 1.2 seconds. It would be so cool if the ASO turned around and said, right, Aston, we're looking to give you 4 seconds. We're going to do it by this, this, and this. Just have a bit more transparency.
Yes.
Because now what is going to happen, and we mentioned that word sandbagging, we don't know who the hell is sandbagging. I'm convinced that Ford sandbagged the hell out of practice. They were Norman Nowheres in practice, and in the race they ran away with it for that famous comeback race. BMW's got 13 kilograms more and a little bit of boost. The Ford, they've taken 13 kilograms.
Yeah.
If somebody can tell us how many, I think it's 15 pounds. No, it's not. It's 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Who can do times 2.4? The Porsche RSR 911 RSR, that's my cynic. The cynic in me says they're leaving them where they are. Porsche's going to win because it's their 70th birthday.
Oh, okay.
But that's just because I'm cynical. The Chevy, the Corvette, they've given it 10 kilos. The 488, they've given it a bit more power. And I see that the landlord wants to kick us out. So that's the end of my story. And I've got to say, it is so lacquer to be back in the show. Back in the studio.
And I just want to say a big up to these guys. Samsung supplies with our new microphone system, which worked fantastically for you on Saturday. The audio quality coming through, people commenting on it. So a real big shout out to Samsung Tech South Africa. So if you guys want to do what we do, these are the type of microphones you should use.
Gary,
and you
with
get
a
one
sock.
of these with a sock,
But Gary's precious about the sock, which is he has to be because somebody chucks the Gary. You're making noise there.
I am, true. It's going shh, 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 shh. Okay, just a quick one. Sparky Bright has just sent us up some more information about the service. So for all you endurance guys, okay, this has just come out. Thanks very much, Sparky. They carried out tests at PE. After the first 3 the corners, the track has they've done a tire test and it's dramatically reduced tire wear and increased grip. So that's it.
It's like a wonder, bro.
So to all you guys.
Guys, thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks for sharing your info, your time with us. I'm happy that we're nearly on the downhill to summer. We will see you next week. Enjoy Le Mans. Enjoy the stuff. And Father's Day to all the other fathers, for Sunday, happy Father's Day. May it be what you desire. Thanks. Cheers.